Hello everyone, I am Kath, one of your speakers in today's podcast. Together with me are my friends/classmates who are also coming along with me in discussing and understanding our topics for today's session. In this podcast, we assure you that this is your safe space where you can talk it all out. Anything you want to share about life, experiences, or opinions are all safe with us. Nandito kami ngayon para pag-usapan yung mga bagay at alam namin na somehow makakatulong sa inyo and para mabigyan namin kayo ng comfort and love, hopefully, sa kabila ng mga pinagdaanan nyo ngayon. Anyways, bago natin pag-usapan ng lahat, papakilala ulit ako. I am Kath Maniego, your speaker for today, and together with me are JM and Aliana. Uy, JM, Aliana, how are you? This is our first ever podcast. My gosh.
Ay, nako, Kat. I'm more than happy. I'm beyond excited because I get to share information and insights that might help the people, especially the youngsters who are prone on being the victim of sexual harassment. I believe that this podcast will raise awareness and protect those who are victimized without being biased and hurting people along the way. Actually, dati ko pa to gusto ma-address talaga kasi alam ko na sa pandemic tayo ngayon at wala naman na tayong ginawa kundi umupo sa ating mga upuan at tumutok sa mga gadgets natin. Why not use my time in something useful, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung makakatulong ako sa iba at makakabigay ako ng saya sa kanila.
Indeed, Bestie JM, as we approach the end of the year 2021, the Philippines, unlike many other countries across the world, has been quarantined for more than 2 years, part of a global epidemic that has taken thousands of people's lives, mobility, valuable time for education, and economic security. However, until now, hindi pa rin tumitigil ang paglago ng sexual harassment sa Pilipinas. Hindi lamang tayo makakatulong sa iba, kundi may papakita rin natin sa kanila na hindi sila nag-iisa. Sexual harassment has taken a long time to be recognized as a real problem in the society. Preteens, teenagers, and young adults have been suffering alone because they are too afraid of raising their voices, exercising their rights, and making a huge change. This is an issue that can have a serious impact on a person. It may cause them to become stressed, and they may experience anxiety or depression as a result.
Okay, but now let's try to define the basic meaning of sexual harassment. According to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, they define sexual harassment as unwelcome sexual approaches, solicitations for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature in the workplace or learning environment. Sexual harassment does not always have to involve sexual behavior or be directed at a specific individual. Sexual harassment manifests itself in a variety of ways, not just one. It includes attempts to touch, grab, or make other physical contact with you without your consent. It also includes passing remarks with a sexual meaning.
Masasabi ko naman na ang sexual harassment ay walang pinipiling lugar at oras. Pwede itong mangyari sa iba't ibang pampublikong lugar tulad na lang sa public transportation o kaya terminals, public washrooms, simbahan, parks, malls, premises of the school or workplace. Basta kahit saan na pwede.
Tama ka dyan, Aliana. Wala nga siyang pinipiling lugar, pati tao, no? And teenagers have been suffering from experiences they had from the past that may drive them to become individuals that hide from social situations. Yun nga, it's the traumatized they got from the past. It's either they overcome it or they are engulfed by it. You know, it eats them alive, something like that. And it causes them to lose confidence and self-esteem. Sexual harassment in today's society typically takes on more subtle forms, like 1. Suggestive late-night texts or photographs. Yun nga, ito yung mga, siguro kung hindi man kayo aware o para na rin masabi namin sa inyo, ang pag-receive or ang pag-send ng messages or pictures na that can be a tools for something, for a sexual activity or interaction. Isa na rin yun as a sexual harassment kung like hindi mo yun ginusto or isa sa inyo hindi may gusto nun. Second, unsolicited sexual comments. Ito yung mga, alam niyo yung mga ginagawa, kunyari, kunyari, a girl is eating a banana and kunyari, someone comments about it in a sexual way. Sabihin nila like, they will joke about it or something like that. Na hindi naman dapat, diba? She's like eating a banana. So, what's up with that? She's eating food. It's food. It shouldn't be sexualized, diba? That's already sexual harassment. Third, request for sexual behaviors. Ito nga yung parang asking for, someone is asking you to do something sexual with them and you don't want to. So, that's already a sexual harassment. Fourth, verbal harassment. This includes jokes referring to sexual acts. Siguro, meron iba, madalas hindi natin na-notice na nasa sexual harass na pala tayo through jokes, no? Kasi we tend to accept it and laugh it off. Pero na hindi naman dapat talaga. So kapag if someone made a joke on you to you and it made you uncomfortable, then it's not a joke. Jokes are supposed to be funny, and if it did not make you laugh, it's not a joke. So yeah.
I agree.
Fifth, sharing sexual relations or stories at work, school, or in other inappropriate places. Yun yung sinabi mo kanina, Aliana, di ba? Like, it can occur in public places, no? Mostly,
Saan pwede?
Work, school, ganyan. Six, feeling pressured to engage with someone sexually. Someone is trying to persuade you into doing something sexual with them. They're pressuring you. They're like, kunyari partner mo, and he or she is saying na, kung hindi mo to gagawin, hindi mo ako mahal. Parang ganon. That's already pressuring you into doing something sexual with them. If they want, let's say they want to do dirty talks or like have sex, but you don't want to, and they're telling you na, sige, pag hindi mo to ginawa, hindi mo ako mahal, mag-break na tayo. That's already, no, that's a no.
That's a no.
7, exposing oneself or performing sexual acts on oneself. Ito nga yung pag-send ng nudes. Yeah?
Yeah.
Pag-send ng nudes ng, hindi mo naman ginusto. You did not ask for it. Kaya bigla lang siya nag-send. That's already sexual harassment. Kahit hindi ikaw yung nag-send nun, he or she is showing his or her private part to you without your consent. And 8th, physical harassment such as malicious touching, overt sexual advances, and gestures with lewd insinuation. Parang yung sabi kanina ni JM na like grabbing or touching someone without their consent and with the motive of something, with the sexual motive. That's a physical harassment. Alam niyo yung mga I watch a video like a social experiment na yung guy tinatouch niya yung legs ng girl. That's already a sexual harassment, right?
Of course. Sexual harassment yan.
And nangyari pa yun sa train, sa
public place pa.
Public place pa siya, di ba? Like, so
yeah.
That's, you should report that person if it happens to you or happened to you.
Nakakalungkot talaga yung mga nangyayari sa surroundings natin. And some people are not even aware of that. Isipin mo naman kasi may mga kabataan pa rin ngayon na is nilang na itago na lang yung mga nararamdaman nila kasi takot sila eh. Well, no one in our world deserves to be subjected to sexual harassment. We all have the right to live freely without fear of harassment, bullying, or even discrimination. Buti na lang talaga, the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines and Congress made various laws about sexual harassment that may help the victims. The policy of the state on sexual harassment states that any sexual harassment which has been declared illegal in the employment, training, and education systems, it's not systems, I think it's settings, education settings, should not be condoned since it violates a person's dignity and human rights.
Since you mentioned it naman, Aliana, at pinag-uusapan na natin ang mga batas na related to sexual harassment, may nais lamang ako ibahagi tungkol dito. May nabasa kasi ako nun, it's an article tungkol sa Republic Act 11313 na pinirmahan ni President Rodrigo Duterte last April 2019. Sabi sa batas, or again, Republic Act 11313, it states that gender-based sexual harassment is banned in all public places, including streets, workplaces, recreational areas, and public vehicles. Listed offenses include groping, stalking, flashing, and making misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, or sexist slurs.
So, since may batas ng ganyan, ano yung mangyayari sa mga, lalabag dyan or something?
Good question, Kat. Ang pagkakaalam ko lang naman, those who are caught under the Safe Spaces Act doing unlawful actions could face up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to 500,000 pesos. Or kalahating milyon na yun. Ang laki na nun.
Grabe, 6 months in jail and a fine of 500,000 pesos. Grabe.
Kulang. Joke lang.
Pero grabe pa din
Yeah.
yun. Pero that is a lot of time and money. Isipin mo yon, kalahati ng buwan, isi-spend mo sa kulungan dahil lang sa nagawa mong kasalanan. Pero, deserve nila yon. Deserve, bestie.
Yeah.
Deserve
Lalo na
talaga.
kapag na-prove talaga na they did that. Yeah.
Deserve nila yon. They shouldn't do that sa first place pa lang. So, with the Republic Act 11313, victims of sexual harassment to reclaim their streets from sexual harassers and gender bigots and make public areas safe for everybody.
That's nice. That's actually nice. And dahil sa batas na yan, syempre madaming tao yung maproprotektahan, tapos hindi na sila matatakot mag-share ng mga experience nila about sexual harassment. Although, hindi naman yun yung laging case. Minsan, madalas parang takot pa rin sila dahil nga baka sila yung i-shame or sabihin ng mga tao, takot sa judgments, which is still sad, pero it's a good opportunity naman for them to be able to voice their experiences out.
Iba-iba naman talaga yung cases sa iba't ibang tao, pero I think this is a good opportunity for them to speak out. So, alam ko hindi lang to yung batas na meron tayo . Alam ko meron din tayong batas na Republic Act 7877 na mas nauna na ipasa sa Kongreso kaysa sa Republic Act 11313. Ang Republic Act 7877 are also known as Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995.
Well, Aliana, I'm not a lawyer myself. So, ano naman ang mayroon sa Republic Act 7877?
Magandang tanong yan, JM. So, a little bit information about this republic is that itong Republic Act 7877 or Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 ay nagsasabi ng the state must value each individual's dignity, promote the development of its human resources, ensure full respect for human rights, and protect the dignity of workers, employees, applicants, students, and those receiving training, teaching, or education. To that purpose, all types of sexual harassment in the workplace, in schools, or in training are hereby deemed illegal. The law was approved, signed, sealed, and delivered on February 14, 1995.
May laws na parang ganito. Sa totoo lang, hindi ko alam na may gantong laws. Pero it's good that they exist and we're able to share them with you na. And kami rin, nalaman na rin namin na may ganito palang laws.
Yeah.
So it's a big help for the victims to come forward and tell their stories about being sexually harassed. And pinag-usapan natin to sexual harassment, pero sa totoo lang, nalilito ako nun kung ano yung pinagkaiba ng sexual harassment, assault, misconduct, abuse, and violence. I thought they were the same.
Din, magkakapares sila.
Pero yeah, after some research, we found out that they are still different, and we're gonna share them with you now. We already know what sexual harassment is. Sexual harassment is any behavior that makes another person uncomfortable. ito ang umbrella term sa mga unwanted sexual behaviors. Meaning, under sa sexual harassment ang sexual misconduct, abuse, assault, violence, at iba pa. Isang example nito ay yung paggawa nga ng sexual jokes or saying sexual comments about someone's appearances. Next is yung sexual violence. A broad term din to, but it refers to crimes like sexual assault, rape, and sexual abuse. Isipin natin na isa tong term under sexual harassment na nagre-refer sa mga unwanted sexual behaviors na pwedeng maparusahan under the law. Like they are considered as criminal acts. Next ay yung sexual misconduct. Ito ay yung inappropriate conduct ng walang consent. Maaari din itong pagkuha ng consent using inappropriate methods. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, like pinapressure ka, pinaforce ka by threatening you and blackmailing you, ganun, para lang makipag-engage ka sa sexual act or relationship din sa taong yun. On the other hand, sexual assault is when a sexual act is performed without one's explicit or enthusiastic consent. Ayun nga, example nito kanina ay yung exposing your genitals to another person without their agreement to view them. Yun nga, sabi ko kanina, di ba, may nag-send sa'yo kunyari ng photos ng kanilang private parts na hindi mo naman inask.
Yeah,
that's a sexual assault na. Dito rin nabibilang yung rape or yung penetration sa genitals without proper consent. Kung may consent man, napilitan, still a sexual sexual assault kahit may consent man. Pero yung consent, napilitan lang siya, ganun.
Yeah.
Lastly ay yung sexual abuse. This is a term used for describing unwanted behaviors towards children. So ito yung madalas gamitin kapag sa children siya. Any child under the age of consent cannot give informed consent to sexual acts. Even if the child seems enthusiastic, it is still a crime. You're an adult and you're hitting on a minor. Like, why? Diba? Since you're older, you should be able to think wiser, right? You would not hit on a minor. Like, what is that? And in the Philippines, the current age of consent is 12 years old, which is alarming. At the age of 12 nga, nag-jackstone pa lang tayo, tsaka nagbabarty. Pogs, ganyan. Pero thankfully, na-approve yung bill which will raise the age to 16 years old. Pero, I think it should still be raised to 18 or 20. I think 16 years old is still too young.
Yes. Yun pala yun. Even I was confused about those terms dati. I tend to mix them or always use them interchangeably. Sa tingin ko, importante nating malaman ang pinagkakaiba ng mga terms na ito so that our knowledge about sexual harassment is more expanded. In addition lang rin, I agree rin na dapat i-raise pa sa 18 yung age of consent. If not 18, I think 20 is more suitable gaya na sinabi ni Kat. So thank you for that, Kathleen.
Of course. But yeah.
Parang may napansin lang ako Mukhang kanina pa natin minimension ang word na consent. Tapos grabe yung emphasis sa word na consent. Pero ano nga ba talaga ito? Kasi minsan may mga tao na parang nagkakaroon pa din ng misconceptions. Kaya sa tingin ko kailangan malaman ng mga listeners to dahil sobrang important nito. Some may not be even aware na consent is not simply agreeing to something.
Yes, tama ka dyan, tama ka.
Para sa akin, masasabi natin may consent ang isang tao na gawin ng isang bagay kapag yung kausap or sa tao na gagawin niya yung bagay na yun is nagsabi siya ng yes or oo or kahit anumang language sa kahit anumang language. Hindi lang basta tumango or nanahimik or what. No, dapat may confirmation talaga at maririnig mula sa bibig ng taong yun. Kasi sometimes yung interpretations ng mga tao nagbe-vary towards the gestures of a person.
Or, kung hindi naman dahil sa misinterpretations, pwede din na napipilitan lang yung specific na tao na yun na mag-agree. masasabing true consent yun kapag hindi naging factor ang pressure sa pagsasagot.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Dapat hindi ma-pressure yung taong tinatanong. After all, this is a free country. And malaya tayo sabihin kung ano dapat yung gusto nating isagot.
Naniniwala din ako sa sinabi ni JM. Pero usually, di ba, pag kunwari, may mga kausap ka, minsan maririnig mo na lang sa kanila yung statement na silence means yes. Pero, para sa akin silence means no. Kapag kasi sinabing consent, parang we're looking for the answer or presence of the word yes rather than the absence of a no.
Yes.
Pero
I agree.
Oo nga na. Pero marami din tao na sinasabi na silence means consent. Kaya naman one way or another, we have to speak up para malaman ng iba kung ano ang thoughts or answers natin regarding it. Dahil kung hindi magsasalita or magtutok, just like what Kath said, baka magkaroon ng ibang interpretation yung mga tao.
Yes, kaya naman, talking or speaking is the only way para masabi if nabigyan ba ng consent or hindi.
Oo. I agree. Pero kasi minsan, yun nga, hindi naman lahat ng tao may lakas ng loob, no, na sumagot kasi
Siyempre, takot din sila.
oo kasi siguro kung ako rin yung nandun sa ganong situation, I don't and like syempre kahit ako natatakot na rin ako parang
Of course, sino ba
this
hindi?
person could do something worse than sexually
Yeah.
abuse me. Kaya minsan it depende pa rin talaga sa
Nagbabari pa din.
Pero it's good kung na speak out nila na no because hindi nga nila gusto. Though there could be non-verbal indicators that could be considered as a no, or that person is completely rejecting the consent. Kunyari sabi ko kanina, like pushing him or her away, or not reciprocating or responding to the actions of the other person, or simply not engaging with whatever is going on.
Well, tama naman talaga yung sinabi mo, Kat. Pero, madaming instances na merong factors kung ba't nila nagawa yon. Paano kung nasa influence sila ng alcohol or kaya naman they are in a relationship kaya iniisip nila na may consent agad? Kaya ano kaya sa tingin mo pwedeng gawin nila?
As for my take dun sa influence ng alcohol, if yung tao na hinihingan ng consent can't even stand up on their own or can't even communicate properly and mukha talagang wala siya sa presence of mind niya, dapat talagang i-take na natin yun as a no because for sure, hindi niya maalala na nagbigay siya ng consent sa tao na yun. We should always know our limits toward others and our responsibility as a human being. Never take for granted those people who are not in the clarity of their mind.
True. You first of all, parang you don't take advantage of someone who is clearly like, yun nga sabi ni Jem kanina, not in the clarity of their mind. Like, wala sila sa tama nilang condition.
Yes.
Something.
Like they are vulnerable to
Doon naman sa isang question ni Aliana, which is asking consent even if you are in a relationship, as a representation of my answer, isipin natin na ako yung may-ari ng bahay. Then, pinapasok ko kayong dalawa and pinaupo ko kayo sa living room. In that case, you are only limited dun sa area na yon. Unless you ask me if pwede ba makigamit ng CR or something, or kusa ko kayo, around sa bahay ko, and telling you na, feel at home, come on, touch my things. Yeah, you can lay on my bed. Unless sinabi ko yun, hindi nyo pwedeng gawin yun. Diba? Ganun din sa relationship. Need ng consent ng every movement na gagawin mo dun sa other person. Lalo na kung kapag, sexual act siya. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean sex is like required without, consent.
So basically, tayo yung may control sa mga bagay na pwedeng gawin ng ibang tao sa atin, di ba?
Sa mga ganung cases, yes. If it needs your permission, your consent, yes. May control tayo dun.
Actually, may biglang nag-pop up na question sa utak ko. Ano naman yung opinion nyo regarding sa nakadepende sa suot ng tao kaya sila nakakaranas ng sexual harassment?
Grabe. Ilang beses ko na yan narinig sa mga social media. Ganon. Grabe, like, yung rason daw kung ba't nila na-experience yun kasi daw masyado daw showy, masyadong too much skin, masyadong revealing.
No.
Pero, di ba, we wear clothes to express ourselves. Hindi naman ganun yun, di ba? Yung mga sinusuot natin do not equate to the statement we are asking for it. Kasi we wear certain clothes kasi doon tayo comfortable or masaya.
Yes, I agree with that. Well, if we would point out na ang dahilan kung bakit nahaharas ang isang tao ay dahil sa kanyang pananamit, paano natin ma-explain yung mga cases na sa baby or sa bata yun nangyari?
Nakita kong ganyan.
They were cases about 6 months old baby na rape. Like, no, what? It's a baby. Who would do a sexual act on a baby? Only, crazy people. And regardless sa gender and age, if walang respect at hindi alam ng tao ang limit na actions niya sa iba, doon nga, more likely nangyayari to. Kahit sabihin natin under influence siya ng alcohol, ang dami ko rin naman narinig na tao na nagsasabing, alam mo pa rin yung ginagawa mo kahit
alam mo
lasing
pa
ka.
rin ginagawa mo.
Diba?
Yes, sa bagay may point kayong dalawa. And thanks to Kat kasi bringing up niya na disregarding a person's age and gender could still be victims of sexual harassment. Actually, men are also experiencing sexual harassment and sobrang common yan na case lalo na sa ibang bansa. Although it is not always talked about kasi baka nahihiya sila na guys sila din, sila yung na-harass. Being harassed should not be something that we should be ashamed of. Kasi tinitignan yung men as dapat matapang lang lagi. And dapat hindi sila open to their emotions and stuff. Dapat kung sino yung gumawa, siya yung mahiya para sa sarili niya. Kasi they don't know how to respect others and control themselves.
Oo nga. Narinig ko nga na parang most ng mga sexual harassment cases are girls. Pero there are some cases naman talaga may mga guys din na nakakaranas nun. Kaya true talaga yung sinabi mo, JM. Dapat hindi mahihiya yung mga victims. Since napag-uusapan na din naman natin yung mga myths and misconception about sexual harassment, let me spill our last question in this episode. So, do you agree na yung mga victims of sexual abuse or harassment are more likely to become abusers kapag tumanda na sila?
If you ask me that, no, they won't grow up to be like those people.
No din yung answer ko actually.
Kasi para sa akin, why would they do something to others na maka-traumatize sa kanila? To get revenge? Or will it do any good to them? Sure ako, hindi naman, no, it will not do anything good to them. In fact nga, sila pa nga yung parang mas nag-encourage sa iba na, and nag-stand up for others na nakakaranas nun, di ba? I guess, we humans are not that cruel to do such a thing to just fulfill the eagerness na bumawi or gumante.
I very much agree with Kat. Mas nakakasaya sa puso kapag ikaw yung nag-cause or gumawa ng something para mag-stop or kahit papano ma-lessen yung masamang nangyayari.
True.
Because at the end of the day, yung gusto lang naman natin is a peaceful place.
Totoo yan. Nakakasad lang talaga syempre na may mga gantong nangyayari around the world. Syempre hindi lang sa Pilipinas to nangyayari, pero sa iba't ibang countries din syempre nangyayari to. Kaya sa mga listeners out there, if you are a victim, do not be afraid to speak up. And if may kakilala ka naman na victim, please understand, comfort, and listen to their experiences.
Yes, and if you've already spoken up, we're proud of you. You did your best. You've become stronger. And, and we hope that you will let us be a shoulder to lean on. We got you.
Aside from that, remember that we do not know what is going on with other people's lives. That's why we should always choose to be kind.
So, yung mga listeners out there, if you guys need someone, you can contact us on our Facebook page, Your Safe Space, or you can send an email to us. Our emails would be located at the description box. Feel free to message us anytime. We are here to listen, okay?
Again, this is Your Safe Space. I hope we did great because this is our first attempt in making a podcast. So we hope
Yes.
you keep up with us and stick with us along the way. This is your safe space where you can talk it all out.